Hey everyone, Kathy the Vegan Prepper here, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you about 4 or 5 days of my family's meals. Let's go ahead and get into it. Vegan prepper. Vegan prepper. Okay, so I'm showing you about 5-ish days of meals. Mostly just for me and my daughter because she's the one who's home with me all day long. But every now and then the meals are also going to be for Thad or for Elliot, like if one of them is home or happens to be home. For the most part, Thad and Elliot pack their own lunches because of the fact that I want them knowing how to do that before they move out. And almost always Adam ends up taking leftovers, but occasionally he does get lunch out. Like with people at work, and then sometimes Thad does the same thing. He'll get lunch out. So it's always like a kind of a flex and a flow. There's never like a set plan as far as what meals are going to be eaten when. My style is not so much in the meal planning because there's just something about meal planning, like I get a mental block on that. I can't seem to sit down and put stuff into a grid. It's something that for me, I just sort of keep on hand a large stock of ingredients so that pretty much anytime we can make whatever it is that we want to make at that moment. I do also know, for instance, on the night that Sage has her dance class. So the only thing I know or like I think of ahead of time is something like that. And thankfully, because we are really protective of our family time, of our evenings and kind of the peace of our lives in general, we don't have huge amounts of scheduled things, but Sage does have a weekly dance class. And so on that night, I typically will like put something into the Instant Pot so that it's ready for me when I get home. So, you know, stuff like that. But actually, even this last week, we didn't even have her dance class. So it just was randomly not there. So anyway, things just change constantly. But one thing I will say that I have learned, even though I don't consciously plan it, because this weekend or this week has just basically been a lot of me using up food that I have in the fridge. It's also been a very busy week for me. I've reopened my shop. I'm very busy. I'm doing a lot more. I'm doing my schooling, my classwork for my, becoming a clinical herbalist and working on that. And so there's a lot more demand on my time during the day, and I have not had as much time this week in particular with orders and all that to do a ton of cooking. So this video is not going to be full of a lot of recipes, but it's going to be kind of fast, thrown together vegan food. Also, this video does not cover literally every single thing that we eat. There's plenty of snacks of produce and nuts, and even sometimes people are just grabbing potatoes and tofu and stuff out of the fridge as snacks. And so this isn't necessarily fully reflective of, or like veggies with hummus. And so there is more food being eaten kind of around behind the scenes. And so, yeah, anyway, I just want to say that. And I think that is everything. Let's go ahead and get right into the video. So, oh wait, did I mention that I was using stuff up? I have figured out that I have kind of an ebb and a flow with my, my food preparation that I didn't ever know before I actually was putting this together for you guys. Realizing that I tend to do that where I have a section of time where I'm using up stuff, and then I have my section of time where I'm cooking. And so usually I think it's about a week of each, but it's not really a set in stone planned thing. I don't really do that. So yeah, this week happened to be thrown together meals. So anyway, hopefully it is still helpful and interesting, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, day one breakfast is a smoothie. It's just a couple of bananas, some blueberries, and a whole bunch of greens, about a half a scoop of Sunwear vanilla protein powder, just because the taste is incredible. It's not something that I'm doing because I'm concerned about the protein. It's just, it like takes your smoothie from duty to dessert. Like, it's just the best flavor. Speaking of dessert, it reminds me, I'm craving chocolate, so I'm gonna also add some cocoa powder. But I'm doing pumpkin seeds and a couple of teaspoons of spirulina powder, and then this is the smoothie that I end up sharing with Sage. So this is going to be the primary source of our breakfast this morning. We may have I don't know, like toast or something in addition, but this is the bulk of the main breakfast for this morning. And like I said, I'm going to go ahead and throw in some cocoa powder now because I want some chocolate really bad. That's a good way to get it in. So Adam is allergic to chocolate, so like if he's home, if he's going to be making smoothies after me, I don't usually put the chocolate in, but he's already gone to work, and the only people making smoothies after me are people who can have chocolate, so I'm not overly concerned about it. But if he would happen to be here and there was chocolate in the blender, obviously I'd wash it out really well. All right, so basically the perfect amount, and that's basically how it works out every time. So it's pretty much exactly that. She gets about a quarter of it and I get 3/4 of it. So she gets a little bit of spirulina every day this way, and veggies and all kinds of good stuff. So I like that a lot. Okay, so day 2 lunch is my son is home from school, and so a lot of times we like to do kind of a fun thing on that day. And today we decided to go to Whole Foods. They have a wide variety in their deli. And so we grabbed a couple of slices of vegan pizza, and my son wanted some sushi, so we got him that. And then my daughter is going to get some kind of mac and quote unquote cheese with the chickpea pasta, and it's definitely not ideal, but you know, I'm just being totally honest that this is what today looks like because we're just sort of having a fun day off from school day. Okay, so here are the instructions on the back of that macaroni and cheese box in case you'd like to pause to read it. So you can do that now because I'm about to switch to something else. But I do appreciate that they don't automatically ask you to add butter to it, or well, obviously like vegan butter or you know, an oil. But when I like to add richness, I've talked about this before, I like to add tahini. So we buy this bulk. It is, gosh, we've had it for a little while, but I wanted to point out that there's a difference between whole seed tahini and just like the regular tahini you normally get. For one thing, whole seed tahini tends to be really dark, but here again, you can pause to look if you want to really look, especially if you have some tahini in your house and you'd like to go compare. You can see there's a big difference, mainly down at the bottom of the nutrition facts where you see the calcium and the iron. It's 20% of your calcium and 10% of your iron for the day if you do 2 tablespoons of whole seed tahini, whereas if you have a tahini that still looks white, usually those numbers are maybe 5%, like 2%, like on the iron, I think. And so I use whole seed tahini. It's more bitter for sure. So it's not as appropriate for just like drizzling over the top of something like you would sometimes a white tahini. But mainly I end up mixing this into things or using it in baked goods when like almond butter or something is called for, just to get a lot of that extra naturally occurring, very bioavailable calcium and iron into us. And this is going to give richness and healthy fats to the macaroni and cheese. Just, you know what I'm saying. I know it's not really cheese. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out to make sure, or to look at your tahini and then think if you might like to try to get yourself some whole seed tahini to sort of up your nutrition. You just sort of have to learn how to use it. Okay, I just added the tahini and you can see the color. I was just trying to show you the color. Okay, and here's the last of lunch. So I just made myself a salad so that I didn't have only pizza. Just with some leftover rice and beans from the fridge, and then the last of this probiotic salsa, which is delicious. So I'm trying to use stuff up out of the fridge, so I was using that. And then that is how the mac and cheese turned out for Sage. It's actually quite delicious. I had a little bite just to check, and so yeah, that's lunch for day 2. All right, so dinner is going to consist of a bunch of potatoes that we scrubbed and put into the Instant Pot, some roasted veggies, and this sauce. I did a double batch of my omega-3 pasta sauce recipe, which is on the channel. The only difference here is that I added 1 extra cup of water and then 1 cup of textured vegetable protein. And that's what it looks like. It's a soy product. I get the Anthony's brand. I wish with all of my heart I had a bulk source for that, but I don't. So I just have to buy it 1 bag at a time. It has like a 10 to 20 year shelf life. It's really great. It is soy, in case if you can't have it, then you'd have to find something else. But, you know, I like to put beans in my pasta sauce as well, but sometimes there's just no substitute for that kind of chewy, ground beef mouth feel, you know, and so this is just the way that I do that with our sauces. And yeah, so it's a really fast and easy way to do it. And so this will just go over potatoes, and it's full of flax seed. So there's a ton of omega-3 in this. It's a full half cup of flax in this batch. And just all kinds of the goodness of flax, and then the potatoes, and then a bunch of roasted veggies. So I think that that's a pretty well-rounded meal. Okay, here's what we got for the finished dinner. Nice roasted veggies and potatoes with the marinara. If you haven't tried potatoes and marinara yet, you have to. This is an absolutely delicious meal. And a sprinkling of nutritional yeast, of course. So we're going to dig in. Our day 2 breakfast is smoothie again, and I almost forgot to film it. We already started drinking. But yeah, here it is, just smoothie again. This is going to show up a lot. Okay, so for lunch day 2, I'm just going to do a couple of these packets over potatoes that we cooked yesterday, because I spent all morning shopping at Costco and it's already almost 1, and I got to go pick up Elliot, so I need something fast. All right, so day 2 for me, Thad, and Sage is just, yeah, that chickpea stuff over the top of potatoes, which we cooked yesterday, and it's really delicious. I'm also going to be cutting up some cantaloupe as a fresh addition to the meal. But yeah, there we go, lunch for day 2. Okay, so pardon my messy stove. I am getting ready to do dinner tonight. We're doing, I think, grain bowl salads, I think. But yeah, basically I'm going to get some quinoa into an Instant Pot because I'm not sure how long these are going to take. This is 4 blocks of tofu in separate pans. Actually, I just got these. These are my brand new little baking sheets, and I'm actually thrilled for the first time using them, the first time realizing the potential here. So let me go through really fast. These are my kind of almost like the Chick-fil-A nugget type tofu cubes. There's already a video on the channel for that, even though I don't do it nearly as complicated anymore. I just do a stir, but that's basically what it is. These two are an experiment. We're going to try barbecue. This is just basically tofu with barbecue sauce, and I did black pepper. And then this one is going to be a quote-unquote teriyaki. It's just coconut aminos, which I think tastes a lot like teriyaki sauce, and sesame seeds. And hopefully I'm not going to regret already putting the sesame seeds on. But part of that was also because I wanted to make sure I didn't confuse this one with the standard ones that we usually make. So anyway, these are going to go into the oven, and I'll just be stirring. It's going to be like a 425-degree oven. I'm going to be stirring every 10 or 15 minutes each tray, and then we will see what we end up with. And like I said, because I've never baked this many before, so it's really easy to throw together, and I had all 4 trays, and I thought, well, why not do almost like a bit of meal prep at the same time as just making dinner. So, oh my gosh, we better have leftovers. This is one of those times, because seriously, I can't tell you how often this happens. I think I have made an obscene amount of food, and we should have leftovers for days, and then it just disappears. So I'm going to make so many side dishes that hopefully this stuff cannot get in. Also, it's like 4 entire blocks of tofu. I don't think that everyone can eat 4 entire blocks of tofu. Can they? I don't know. I really hope not. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna get these into the oven, and then you guys can see, I guess, the completed plate or bowl or whatever it is that I come up with. Okay, here are the tofus out of the oven. These are the two, they're like the classic style, which I think are still the best tasting. I really love this one. But this one's barbecue. It turned out really well. Actually, it's pretty yummy. And the quote unquote teriyaki, I don't think it really is like teriyaki, but it's still a really good flavor in and of it, you know, in its own right. And so I'm very excited for us to build our bowls with these. And here is the quinoa and rice cauliflower. And you see that everything is nicely done. And I'll just end up mixing all of that together and serve it into our bowls. Okay, Adam says that the quote unquote teriyaki ones remind him of ham. And so he doesn't like them because he never liked ham. And I tasted them again and he is so right. These taste like little cubes of ham and it's a little weird, but I don't know. I still think that they are good. I just thought I would mention that. But here are our bowls, and Thad doesn't have one yet because he's not home right now. He'll get some when he gets home. And so this was Elliot's. He just kind of mixed it all up. And for the most part, I think Elliot took the teriyaki ones, right? And then Adam took like the standard ones that we usually make, and then so did I, but I got a few of the little teriyaki type ones. And so they've put barbecue on theirs, and I've put a little bit of the bleepin' sauce. It's actually this, but we call it bleepin' sauce. And then everybody also gets a little pile of sauerkraut. So it's like greens, quinoa with cauliflower, sauerkraut, and then the tofu, and then that is our dinner. Okay, here is breakfast on day 3. It's another big smoothie. And then Sage is having some little pan-fried potatoes. So fat is still extremely important to her brain development. So for her, it isn't necessarily a bad thing to have like little pan-fried things every now and then. And so she does really love these potatoes. And so that's what she's eating, plus her smoothie. It has the full scoop of protein powder this morning because today is my workout day, but it's funny, my workout was just canceled. So I guess I'm still just having a somewhat heartier smoothie and a heartier breakfast than I normally do. I normally just sort of stick with the smoothie and maybe a little bit of something, but today I made myself a pita with greens and some of the tofu from last night. And then sauerkraut because I need, like on the days that I work out, I need to have more food, and like definitely in the morning before I go, but I'm just going to have a hearty breakfast even though I'm not working out. And I guess that's it. So there's breakfast on day 3. All right, so here's lunch day 3. So Elliot's home, so he is also having this soup I made. It's just leftovers I threw together using up leftovers from the fridge, leftover chili from late last week. It was like Friday night. So, and then leftover quinoa and cauliflower from last night. I added a little extra corn, the leftover beans that I made the day that I made the chili, you know, cause I made the beans for the chili. And then just, yeah, spices or whatever. It's just a bunch of leftovers I tossed together. And Sage is just going to have her own little finger food lunch. Now she might end up eating a lot of my soup, but she likes to have like a little finger food. And so she's just got some pistachios, some of the tofu from last night, and strawberries with just a tiny bit of sugar. I mean, like it was maybe 1/8 of a teaspoon, but I just find that it so drastically increases the palatability of the strawberry to her that I'm willing to do that tiny bit of sugar just to get her to eat all of that amazing fruit and vitamin C and omega-3s, actually, surprisingly enough. If you guys didn't know, strawberries are actually a really great source of omega-3, probably because they are completely covered in seeds. And so you're eating the seeds when you eat the strawberries. But yeah, anyway, that is our lunches for day 3. Oh my gosh, I don't mean to show 2 shots of the same meal, but this is so good. It's just insanely good. So yeah, this is definitely a win. Actually, we are a pretty big fan of soups. It's amazing how good a lot of these leftovers soups can be. But yeah, I'm just very much enjoying today's lunch, and Elliot is really loving it too. Okay, so I just put some of these sourdough pizza doughs, which I made, gosh, kind of a long time ago. They've been in the freezer for a long time. And I just got a ton of frozen vegetables at Costco, and I had to make room, and these were taking up a lot of room. So they should have come out like one at a time to thaw out in the fridge in a nice flat way, but I ended up pulling the whole bag, which had 4 individual frozen, I don't know what to say, frozen dough balls like in the bag. And so when they thawed out, of course they turned into one. Once they were thawed out, like I said, I had frozen them separately, kind of like this, I guess, so that I could make one pizza at a time. I just never have. So I would, like I said, just making room in my freezer. So we're going to see how well the sourdough frozen pizza doughs turn out. So basically I have a pizza stone heating in the oven, and I've got these 4 sitting for probably at least 20 or 30 minutes before I start shaping them and making them into pizzas. I'm just going to use my omega-3 pasta sauce recipe as the sauce, and yeah, figure out some toppings and go from there. Okay, pizza actually turned out quite good. The third one's in the oven. I didn't end up using the omega-3 pasta sauce. I remembered that I had several jars from March of last year of pizza sauce that I had canned up. So I ended up using that. And it's really delicious. So these 2 are like the original, and then these are from the most recent. They're turning out like way darker than I expected, and I don't know if that's just because I'm using that pizza sauce that I made, because normally it's a lot more bright red than this. But even still, the quote unquote cheese is actually also a thing I'm using up, because one of my son's friends invited him over for dinner, and she made pasta, like a vegan pasta dish, and put shredded of this, shredded cheese stuff on top. And then because she doesn't use it herself, she sent it home with him. So that was kind of like a happy coincidence that I needed to pull the pizza doughs. And then I realized all of a sudden, oh yeah, just from a few days ago, or over the weekend, I have this in the fridge too, which I didn't even buy. So yeah, we're using stuff up to make this meal. And so this has to be one of the best random using up stuff meals ever. So yeah, the second one was just a tiny bit of the cheese, because Adam really doesn't like it, with some of the leftover tofu cubes. And then yeah, the third one is basically a little more of the cheese with the tofu cubes, because Thad really likes the cheese. So we're making 4 pizzas total. And yeah, so anyway, this is dinner, day 3. Okay, breakfast on day 4 is the gluten-free pancake mix I have on the channel, with some yogurt from the fridge. It's the vanilla cashew yogurt we really like, but there wasn't enough left in the container for a serving, but also not so little that you could just sort of rinse it and throw it out. So when I have kind of a weird amount, like a small amount of yogurt like that, one of my favorite ways to use it up is to put it into pancakes. And so these I end up calling my snickerdoodle pancakes, because they taste so amazing with that yogurt, and I add cinnamon, and yeah, they're just delicious. And then we're also having cups of hot chocolate. Sage already has hers, because she was, she's just very patiently waiting for all this to be done. I think these are cool enough now. I will take those to her. But yeah, this is just also the hot chocolate mix that I have on the channel with some fresh cashew milk, which is why it's all foamy. I love it when it's like that. But yeah, that is what we're having for breakfast today. Our smoothie will probably end up being a mid-morning snack, or like as part of our lunch. I'm not sure yet, but yeah, we will still get the smoothie in. So these are the supplements that Sage takes every day, or most days. I mean, maybe sometimes I will forget. So that's what they look like. This is the multi, the little omega-3, and then the little B12 and D3. And so she was taking only these for kind of a long time, but then I read on a site outlining how much of each thing kids need per day. I realized that this does not have a sufficient level of vitamin D, so I added this one in. And so it does have sufficient B12, but this is just D3 and B12 is how they sell it. So anyway, she does take these, and that is, I think, just very important. vegans, plant-based people in general supplement obviously with B12, D3 if you don't get a lot of sunshine or if you don't live in an area that has sunshine. But then I think also it's really important to supplement with some omega. I also, and the boys and Adam, we all take an algae-based omega-3 supplement, and multi basically is what we take. I'm not showing the brand of multi, but I will tell you it's Garden of Life, my kind, and I don't really support that anymore. The vitamins have really gone down in quality since they were bought by Nestle a few years ago, and they truly have. And so I'm not going to buy them anymore. I'm currently on the hunt for a good, all natural food-based vegan multi, and I'm going to switch brands as soon as we run out of what we have had on hand. Okay, so day 4, I actually kind of got super busy and forgot to film our lunch. So I had a big salad. Sage had a sandwich that she didn't eat. So she has been snacking a bit today, but yeah, she didn't finish her salad. But I had my smoothie, like I said before, we just sort of, it didn't happen in the morning, but now in the afternoon, we're having a smoothie as kind of an afternoon snack, and that will sort of hopefully make up for the sandwich that Sage did not eat. It was a sun butter and jam sandwich, and I just had a big salad. So, yep. Anyway. Okay, dinner tonight is super simple. I had a meeting online that went long, and so it's actually 8 o'clock right now, and I'm just throwing dinner together. So I pan fried some tofu and some potatoes in just the nonstick skillet, no oil or anything. And then I'm just stuffing whole grain pitas, and this one had a major blowout. I stuffed that one way too much. But anyway, barbecue sauce, tofu, potato, greens, and whole wheat pita, and we call it good. So I'm just sort of starting to crank these out. Once I empty the pan, I do another set of pitas, and somebody else is eating. So that's how tonight is going. Okay, so this is day 5 lunch. Breakfast was smoothie again. And I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here because one of my friends came over, and so this is so simple. This is actually the second cantaloupe that we cut into with everyone around, and this is typically how I serve it, because one cantaloupe will line up pretty well on this cutting board I got from IKEA, and then I just put a bowl and make sure everybody has a napkin, and then we just sort of eat and slurp through the cantaloupe, and that's how we do it in my house. And then all the peels just kind of go into that bowl. And so that was lunch day plus pistachios. We also got the pistachios out, and so we were sort of sitting around eating cantaloupe and pistachios. And yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and not do dinner. Dinner is going to be lasagna from my amazing friend who came over. She's my Dominican friend. She made vegan lasagna and brought us some. So we're going to eat that tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and just call it good on this video, although I will get on and talk about a couple things. Okay, I'm talking about things, and I don't really have anything to say. I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, I guess I'll pop on and say, thanks so much for watching, and gosh, I just finished editing that, and it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. I should stop doubting myself. That was pretty good. So anyway, hopefully that was helpful to you guys at all, and just leave your comments down below. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. And I just realized I should probably go ahead and show you a shot of the lasagna, because I bet you some of you are curious about that. So let's go ahead and go take a look at it. Okay, yeah, let's take a peek at this. Look, I don't want to rip it too much. Oh, you know, so I just did anyway. Oh my gosh, you guys. That is my dinner. So she said she did like, she's just an insanely good cook. She did zucchini and sweet potato. Like, I bet you that's a little cube of sweet potato. And she said she had found an almond ricotta somewhere, and she just, anyway, she made that, and that looks insane. So yeah, we are having that tonight. But meanwhile, I am going to go ahead and I'm not going to show it cooked. I'm going to go ahead and get this video produced and uploaded, because these larger videos take up a lot of space on my phone, and we have plans for more filming later. So yeah, thanks again. I'll see you guys later. This is seriously it. Bye.